Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so the deltoids are a large triangular muscle that make up the shoulder muscle. Yeah? So there are three heads. There's the anterior, the lateral, and the posterior head of the deltoid. So when the deltoids work, what happens is the arm is lifted sideways. Can you lift your arm sideways? Can you see how these muscles come up? Yeah? So I would just want you to show me the anterior, the lateral, and the posterior head of the deltoids. You don't need to draw them, just to be able to indicate where they're running. The other way to bring them into relief is to, if you stabilise the elbow and get them to push, can you see how these muscles then come into relief? You can see there's a groove here, yeah? Anterior, lateral, and posterior head of the deltoid, which is the shoulder muscle. Next up is biceps brachii. So most people know what biceps are. So brachii, anything that has brachii in means to do with the arm. Yeah, and it's biceps because this muscle, the biceps actually has two heads. Yeah, so if I get Seve to push up against resistance, this muscle comes up. These are the biceps, and there is actually a groove that runs between the two. Yeah, so there are two heads here. One head is actually attaching to the coracoid, and the other is running up in the groove between the lesser and the greater tubercle humerus. So these two muscles come here, and what they do is they flex the forearm. Triceps brachii are on the back of the arm, and these extend the arm. Yeah? So when the biceps flex, it pulls the forearm up, and when the triceps flex, it extends the arm. So for here, I would want to stop it. I want to stabilise his wrist and get him to push back, to try and straighten his arm and push backwards. Can you do that? And so these muscles that come up on the back, these are the triceps. There are three heads here. There's, can you see this shape here? Yeah? So 1, 2, and there's actually a little one down here. I wouldn't worry too much about that, but it is triceps brachii, so it's 3. 1 head, 2 head, and there's actually another little one here. And they're very clearly defined here, which is great. So they extend the arm. Pronator teres, yeah, teres just means circular muscle, but enables the arm to pronate. So pronation, you remember, is this movement here. So pronator teres is going to run across here and here, and when it gets smaller, it's going to make those bones turn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the palm here, place my hand on the inner aspect of the forearm, and ask the model to pronate against resistance. So as he tries to turn, I resist, and I can feel this big muscle that's coming up here, and that's pronator teres. So when he relaxes, that muscle relaxes, and then when he tries again, can you do again? This big muscle that I feel on the inside is pronator teres.
Sorry, he's pulling up.
No, he's trying to pronate his hand, yeah, and I'm resisting him. So he's trying to pronate against resistance, and the muscle that's doing that is a muscle that's getting shorter here and is making those two bones come closer together, these bits of bone, yeah? Flexor carpi radialis. Flexor is going to flex. Carpi, the wrist bones, radialis, on the side of the wrist, on the side of the radius, yeah? So, can you try and flex your wrist? That's right. So you pull up like that, and there's going to be, this is the radius is here, there is a tendon. It's hard to feel the muscle when it moves back here, but the tendon here that is running from the scaphoid is flexor carpi radialis. Down by the pisiform bone, there's another muscle that is really flexing at this point, and this is flexor carpi ulnaris. It's running this way. So during the exam, really, you just identify where the tendon is for me, because what will happen is that all these muscles then start to flow into each other. But between these two, there is another very long tendon of a muscle that the tendon goes all the way up into the palm, and this is called palmaris longus. So I don't know if are they going to a little bit?
Yeah, my husband didn't have it. He was one of the 15%.
Oh, okay. So so palmaris longus. If you make an action as if to pick a piece of fruit, can you see that there's this one comes up very clearly? That's great, yeah. So this one is palmaris longus. So palmaris, it goes to the palm, longus, and it's very long. So you have flexocarpi ulnaris, flexocarpi